Mass censorship. Is this current mass censorship that we're seeing globally reflective of the collective's work on their own throat chakra? Welcome to the KIMIYA Healing Podcast. My name is Safa, and today I'm going to be musing around whether the censorship that we're seeing globally, specifically around particular topics, health topics, news and current affairs topics, whether this level of censorship, unprecedented censorship, is actually reflective of humanity's shadow aspect pertaining to the throat chakra. The first thing I want to say is connected to the way the throat, and particularly the sense of self-expression, relates to our sense of belonging. Our sense of belonging in the world, our sense of belonging to a system, our sense of being appreciated, our sense of being held and feeling safe. What's really interesting when I work with clients individually, and also that I've recognized from my own journey of healing my throat chakra, which has probably taken me about 5 years, is actually the throat is not just self-expression. It's not just how we move through the world, how we vocalize our ideas, how we connect with other people. It's also inherently related to our sense of belonging. If you think about the reasons why you might not speak your truth, why you might shut your voice down, how in the past you may have not actually said what you needed to say, or you maybe distorted it slightly to fit a particular agenda or to be slightly more palatable to somebody else. How many times have you curtailed your own voice? How do you currently curtail your own voice? And think about how that's such a natural human experience to almost think twice before you speak. Many of us have been conditioned and programmed growing up, particularly as children, to think in a certain way and to speak in a certain way and not to say certain things. So from a young age, we're learning that full self-expression can be dangerous. It can get you punished. It can make you feel unsafe. It can make you feel unloved. It can make you feel disconnected from your immediate sense of tribe, family, safety. And therefore that makes you feel disconnected from yourself. Why this is really interesting is because I've not worked with a single person who hasn't had an aspect of this within their own shadow, their own throat journey, their own expression, and coming forth into that, and how that has allowed them to be more themselves when they do that healing work. So the point I'm trying to make is that this lies within most of us at some level, and those of you who might have been on a journey of healing your own throat chakra will recognize the level of empowerment that comes with that. Of course, to some degree, the risks that come with speaking your truth and speaking out, and you've had to walk that tightrope between expressing your full self and being authentic and being empowered and feeling truthful versus being rejected and not belonging. And when you've experienced that tightrope of a walk, when you've experienced that balance and really had to calibrate how you express yourself through your throat, what you'll find is that it's a never-ending journey. I don't think it's ever possible to have fully healed your throat chakra. This is such a key part of us, and energetically it's a bridge between our hearts and our heads, and it plays such a key role in allowing us as humans to evolve our ego and to become more heart-centered and more spirit-centered. So this is a golden bridge of our energetic system, the throat. And thinking about our collective evolution, maybe this is really important, because if we are to evolve collectively, our spirit, our head-heart coherence, then inherently our throat and where we have been muffled and where we are muffling ourselves, where we are not speaking our truth, our throat expression is a shadow aspect of collective humanity. I'm not saying that it is right to censor at such a deep and pervading, all-encompassing level. I'm not saying that there is a right or a wrong. I'm suggesting merely that the individual shadow is now being collectively reflected back at us, and many people are unhappy. Many people are deeply, deeply unhappy with the level of censorship. So my question, my invitation is to bring that into yourself and seek some deeper answers, seek some deeper points of reflection. Where have you muffled yourself? Where have you not spoken your authentic truth? How often do you speak your voice from your heart? And how often does your voice resonate through your chest when you speak? And how often does it come from your head? Particularly when it comes to the family setup. Particularly when it comes to children who can feel the difference in resonance when you say, I love you from the head or from the top of the throat, and when you say it with your body and you say it with your being and it comes from such a deep part of your heart, it resonates differently. So I want to invite you to take your sense of well-meaning injustice and fury and whatever else you're feeling around the current levels of censorship that we're seeing, which are very evident. And I invite you to ask yourself, how can you use this that's going on in the world right now for your own personal growth and evolution? Because if every single person did this, the world would look immediately and overnight completely different. So sometimes we focus on the protest, sometimes we focus on the externalization, and we need to express something about the external events which are valid. And when we can balance that with the internal acceptance, when we can balance that with the internal knowing, the inner journey of healing your own throat chakra, healing your own bridge between your head and your heart, healing your own sense of coherency about how you use your voice and what is reflected outwards and back into you when you speak. How often is that your truth? How can you deepen in your truth when you speak and when you express yourself? And for all of us, this is super, super important. The throat and the womb are inherently connected, and this is also part of humanity's rebirth and evolution as we grow in the world and in womb, healing our throats, healing whatever has been muffled, whatever has not been spoken, recognizing what we suppress, and particularly women who have been vocally suppressed for many, many generations. And I often work with women who've found themselves in this position, just choked and unable to speak, but not really even knowing why it's so difficult, because these are collective patterns. The less you can take them personally, and the more you can use them for your personal benefit and growth, the faster you will transcend these patterns, the less affected you will personally be by them, and the more likely you are to individually become a change maker in the world, rather than becoming a victim of the injustices of the world. You will actually be able to rise above, hold the space, and allow yourself to be in a different frequency and continual cycles of growth. So this is my invitation, a bit of an exploration for you to just consider your own authentic voice, your own authentic expression, and recognize that healing the throat is such a beautiful, powerful, and profound journey. It's so deeply connected to the womb. It's so deeply connected to the heart, the breath. All of this is inherently related to not just our mind, body, spirit, and what's happening in the world today, our evolution in womb, but also to our sense of flow, our feminine expression, and our sense of individual empowerment. If you'd like to understand more about the relationship between the throat and the womb and the importance of healing at that level, please visit my blog, kimiyahealing.co.uk/blog.